Welcome back to a new data analysis project. In this video, we are going to do exploratory data analysis using Python. We are going to use libraries like Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and Plotly, and we are going to do visualizations, group bys, and much more in this video. I'm going to share the dataset link in the description of this video. Let's start coding. I'm in the Kaggle page of the dataset that we are going to be using for data analysis in this video, and it's about the supplement sales. We can see that we have the supplement sales data over 2020 and 2025, and in here it says dataset contains weekly sales data for a variety of health and wellness supplements from January 2020 to April 2025. So I'm not going to read all of this stuff because we are going to be analyzing the dataset in Python, and I just wanted to show you this page for showing you how you can download this dataset. At the right upper side, you can see the download button, and when you click on this, after sign in, you can just download the dataset and put this data file in the same directory with the data analysis script that you are going to be running on your computer. So I'm going to be sharing this link in the description of this video. You can just go to this link and use this download button for getting the dataset. And here we have like 10 columns, and it says file format CSV. We have 4,000 rows, and we have date, we have categorical, numerical columns, we have like location information and platform information. Okay, now I showed you how you can download this dataset from this download button. I'm going to be recording again on my code editor for starting part of our analysis. Okay, so I'm in the VS Code screen right now. I'm going to be using VS Code, but you can use any code editor that you want. And here I have my data in the same directory that I'm going to be creating my Jupyter script on, and you can just do the same for using it. And I'm going to share its link in the description. So let's start by creating a file like exploratory data analysis. And it's going to be a Jupyter notebook since I want to go cell by cell. So after this, I'm going to select my kernel 3.11.4, and at the first place, let's do our imports. So I will say import pandas as pd, import numpy as mp, import matplotlib.pyplot as plt, import seaborn as sns. So for analysis we have those, for visualization we have this, and also I'm going to import Plotly. Maybe we can create interactive charts with it, not sure. And also lastly, actually it's going to be Plotly. And lastly, I'm going to import warnings because I don't want to see any kind of depreciation warnings. And I will say warnings, filter warnings, and I will press ignore. So we can start. At the first place, we need to turn the CSV file into a pandas data frame. So I will say data frame, and it's going to be pandas read CSV, and I'm going to pass the file name in here. I will say copy. I'm going to pass it in here, and then I'm going to pass it like this. Now let's see if it's loaded successfully. Like let's say 2. Okay, it's great. So we have date column, we have numeric variables, and we have categorical variables, and we have like date, product name, category, units sold, price, revenue. I believe this is the multiplication of these two, discount, units returned, location, and platform. Okay, so firstly let's set our date into a date time format. So data frame date is going to be pandas to date time, and I will say data frame date. Now we are going to have our data frame in with a date column of date time format. Next, let's start by checking if we have any NA values. So I will say data frame is NA, and this returns cell-wise booleans like this. And when we say sum, we are going to see we have column-wise trues and false sums like in here. Okay, we don't have any NA values since it's all 0. We can see column wise how many NA values we have if we run this, and if you say sum one more time, you are going to see that we are going to get the sum of the all columns. And also let's check for the duplicates. So I will say data frame duplicated, And again, it's returning row-wise booleans. And if you say sum, you are going to see the count of the total. Like we don't have any duplicated columns. Rows, I'm sorry. Okay, great. We can get the basic statistics firstly on numeric columns like with describe. Here we have the mean of 150 for the units sold, price of 34, revenue 5,226, and we can see the average return is 1.5. And on the maximum side we have the 194, price of 60, closer to 60, revenue 10,700, and units returns 8. Okay. Also we can get this for the categoric ones. So we can say describe, but this time we will pass include object. And here we can see that on the product name we have 16 unique ones, and top whey protein on the category we have 10 unique, location 3, platform 3. And we can see the top performance and frequencies of them. Okay. But it's not so meaningful for the numeric ones, so I don't prefer using that. This is better in my opinion. Okay, let's start by creating some plots and doing some group bys. And I want to start by doing some kind of time series analysis. I just want to firstly say daily sales, and I will say data frame group by, and I'm going to group my data by the date, and I will pass aggregation, and in here I will say revenue. I will take the sum. Next, units sold. Again, I'm going to take the sum, and units returned. Again, I'm going to take the sum. So when I make this run, we are going to see on the daily sales side, here we have this date index, and we can see the daily sums. And if we pass reset index in here, we are going to see date is going to be a different column like this. Okay, it's great. Now let's plot revenue over time. So I will say Seaborn line plot. I will pass X is going to be date, Y is going to be this AI assistant, sometimes helpful, sometimes it's painful. I generally don't use its codes, but it's good to use the Copilot sometimes, so I keep it. So data will be daily sales, and let's give it a title like daily revenue over time, and I'm going to say X-text rotation 45, and I will use plt.show. Okay, so we have a balanced plot in here, like the yearly averages are similar, and here we can see the peaks on 2022 and 2024. Okay, cool. Let's go by category wise analysis. So let's see the total revenue by category. I will say data frame group by. I'm going to group by category, and I'm going to take the revenue sums like this, and I'm going to say sort values ascending will be false. So I'm going to make this run, and here I have a mistake. Okay, here I need to remove this one for sure. Here we can see our group by results. Vitamin is the leader and sleep aid is the least one, and this returns the series, the group by. So you can just easily manipulate this, like you can say had to for getting the top two and stuff. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this to something like category revenue, and here when I call the category revenue I'm going to have that one. So I will say, like, let's create a bar plot, Seaborn bar plot. X is going to be category revenue index, and Y is going to be the category revenue, and this time it's going to be values. Next up I will say plt.title revenue by product category, and after that I will say Y label, it's going to be total revenue, and X-ticks is going to be rotation 45, and plt.show. So here we can see our clear winner is vitamin, and then main arrow comes,
performance is the third, protein is the fourth, and we can see we have similar values on amino acid to sleep aid type. Great. Let's go with location and platform based analysis. So let's say like location platform, and it's going to be data frame group by. I'm going to group by location and platform together. So for that I need to pass a list inside here, and next up I will say revenue dot sum. I will use unstack, and I will say fill a 0. So we are going to have something like this. Great. Now we are going to create a bar plot from this. I will say location platform, and I'm going to set the kind as bar. Stacked is going to be true, and actually it's enough. Let's not pass anything else. I will say title and revenue by location and platform. Next up I will say y label, and it's going to be revenue, and I'm going to say x-text rotation 45 and tight layout on this side, and I will say plt.show after that. So actually we have a problem. It says data frame object is not callable. So let me quickly check this code. We group by this, and next up we take the revenue sum, we use unstack, and we use fill a. Okay, everything seems cool on this side. So okay, I just see that we are going to say dot plot after this. So we are going to have this ready right now. Okay, so we have our chart ready. The Canada is the leader, and on Canada iHerb is the leader, and USA have the least revenue, and in here Amazon is leading in the USA. Okay, seems great. So let's continue with product level insights. I will say top products, and I will say data frame group by product name, and I'm going to take the values of revenue, and I'm going to say, actually I need a closing parenthesis. I will say sum after this. I will say sort values, and ascending is going to be false, and let's say like head 10. So I'm going to have something like this on the top product side, and I limited it with 10, but you can limit it with 5 if you want. It doesn't matter. Again, I showed you it returns a Pandas series and you can manipulate it easily. I'm going to go with 10, and in here I'm going to say Seaborn by plot. X is going to be top products dot index, Y is going to be top products dot values, and next up actually it will be values title. Let's say like top 10 products by revenue, and let's give it the X label like revenue, and I will use plt.show at the end of this. So here we have a plot like this. Great. So the biotin is the leader, and protein has the least revenue compared to these 10, and okay, great. Actually this surprised me. Normally protein takes the lead on all of this kind of stuff, but in here we have it's in the 10th place. Okay, let's analyze the return rate. So data frame return rate, we are going to calculate it by ourselves. We will say data frame units returned, and we will say data frame, actually not parentheses, data frame units. Okay, it can complete actually. AI got it right this time. And I'm going to call data frame head again. We are going to return rate right now. So you can get this percentages, like you can just call return rate and you can just multiply it with 100 and reassign if you want to see them as percentage, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a group by category return, and I'm going to say data frame group by, I'm going to group by category, and I will say return rate, and after that I'm going to say mean, and I will say sort values ascending will be false. And next up we are going to have something like this, and I'm going to create a bar plot from Seaborn. X is going to be category return dot index, and Y is going to be category return dot values, and we are going to give it a title like average return rate by category, and we are going to give a Y label like return rate, and X text is going to be rotation 45 parameter PLT show. Here we have our table ready. So hydration has the most return rate and herbal is the least in this comparison. So let's analyze the discount effect. So I will say Seaborn scatter plot, and X is going to be discount, but firstly let's pass the data frame. Data is going to be data frame, X will be discount, Y will be revenue, and in here we can add a hue as category, and category, and I'm going to set alpha 0.6. Next up I will say title discount versus revenue, and I will say plt.show after this. So we are going to see something like this. Then we can get a correlation heat map. Like correlation is going to be data frame. We will take units sold, and we will take price. We will take like revenue, and I'm going to take discount, and I'm going to take units returned. And then I'm going to call correlation simply like this, and we are going to have the heat map in here, and we can easily visualize it like Seaborn heat map. We are going to just pass this correlation, and I will say not true, and color map will be cool warm. So actually we can add format, but I don't want that. Next up I will say plt title correlation heat map, and I will say plt.show. So we are going to have our heat map ready. And here on the high correlation side, I only see the high correlation between the price and revenue. So correlation takes values between 1 and -1. 1 means strong positive relationship, which means that they are going to move together in both directions. Like if one goes up, the other one goes up. And -1 means they are moving differently, like if one goes up, the other goes down, and otherwise if one goes down, the other one goes up. So in here we can see a value closer to 1 in price and revenue, so it's expectable because we are just multiplying it on that side of things. And I see with the revenue and units sold too, it's the formulation, so it's so normal. I don't see big correlations other than that. So we don't have any meaningful information in here. Okay, so at the first place I imported Plotly and said like maybe we can create an interactive visualization. Let's do that. I want to show you, like let's say figure, and it's going to be px. Let's use line, and data frame x will be date and y will be revenue, and let's set the color as category, and I will say title revenue over time by category like this. And after that we will say figure.show. So here is our Plotly chart. So this is beautiful because it's interactive. Whenever I move my cursor, I can see different values, and we can just zoom in and we can just reset, zoom out, we can reset the axis, we can just move with the axis like this, and we can make changes like this. So right now it's not really meaningful because we have out of categories, but just see that I'm going to drop them one by one, and at the end we are going to have a single line. So let's say that we want to analyze protein versus mineral. We can have this kind of plot, and we can change the axis and use this easily. And let's say that we want to add omega and drop protein. We can see it like this. And let's say that we want to have protein with fat burner. Here we can see the trends, and we can just zoom on specific, let's say that between 2020 and 2021, we can go like this and analyze this information monthly. We can change stuff again like this and see how different categories performed in that specific range easily with this interactive chart. I really like Plotly visualizations, and I think they are super useful. Great. Okay, let's do trend analysis. So I will say data frame monthly, and I'm going to create a column like data frame date, date time to period, monthly. So we are going to get the monthly revenue trend. I will say monthly, data frame group by, monthly aggregation, and in here we will say revenue sum, units sold sum, units returned sum, and also let's get this before the units returned, we will say discount, and we will get the mean. So in here we need to add this, and we are going to be good to go. It says okay, now it's going to work smoothly. Okay, I made another typo. Yeah, sure, it's group by. Now we are good to go. Let me call the monthly. So here we have this data, and we can say monthly, like, let me write it again, monthly, month, and I will say monthly, month. And actually I don't know I like this AI features or not sure. I will be happy to hear your comments about them. Like, I'm like not the biggest fan on that side, but sometimes they are useful, sometimes they are not. Okay, so we need to go with monthly. Now we are going to be good to go. And actually what I'm going to do right now is I will say figure axis, and I will call subplots in here 2 1, and I can say like show x true. Next up I'm going to say for the first line plot, data is going to be monthly, x is going to be monthly, and y is going to be revenue. And let's set like in here ax is going to be excess 0. Next up I will say excess 0, set title monthly revenue trend, and excess 0 tick params, axis will be x, and rotation is going to be 45. Next up I will say for the second one line plot again, and data will be monthly, x will be monthly, y will be units sold, and this time ax axis 1 like this, and axis 1 again set title monthly units sold trend, and I'm going to let the AI compilate this one too. We will say plt tight layout and plt.show. It says function object has no attribute title. Let's check it. So here access 0. Okay, set title with underscore. Now it's going to be a fix. And I have another typo. Now it's going to be small. So we can just make this figure size bigger, like let's say in here figure size, and I want it to 16 to 12 because I can see the months right now. Here we are going to have this ready. Okay, great. We can see the trends right now, like they go up, down. Maybe we can filter the dates and go specific for the analysis, but I don't think it's necessary. And great, we have our charts on the side. Lastly, I want to create a metric like net revenue. And it's going to be data frame revenue minus data frame units returned, and we are going to get this multiplied with data frame price. And we are going to have something like this on the net revenue side, and I will say like category profit, data frame group by category, and I will say net revenue sum and sort values ascending false. Okay, I got it right. I'm going to have something like this, and in here I'm going to create a bar plot. X will be category profit index, and Y will be category profit values. Next up, I'm going to say plt.title net revenue by category, and Y label net revenue. I will say plt xtext rotation 45 and plt.show. Okay, now we have a special metric which is defined by assumption like the data frame net revenue and a plot on this too. Okay, great. That's going to be the video, and I want to show a different stuff on the last side, like you can add your custom metrics, you can do data manipulation, and in the video let's check one by one what we did. We started with reading the CSV file, then we do data manipulation on the date side, we checked for the NA values, duplicated values, numerical summaries, object ones summaries. Actually, there is a typo after we made it run. I think it happened. It's describe and it was include. Okay, way better. And we made group bys, we made analysis, we created line plot, and we have more group bys, visualizations, like we go with per category analysis, trend analysis, we talked about the interactive charts, and we check the trends, we create a special metric and visualize it. Great, thanks for watching. Let's get to the outro.
Thanks for watching this data analysis project. I have a playlist named Python Data Analysis, which has more than 40 videos just like this one. You can reach that playlist from the cards of this video or from the links in the description. Also, I'm sharing a new data science video every week on my channel. You can subscribe for more videos like this. Have a great day.